Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soundbite. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to be jumping into a bit of Iron Maiden, one of the most legendary heavy metal bands of all time. An interesting story, much like my Judas Priest one. If you haven't seen that one, please check that one out as well. It's another band that I never just quite got into, but I have an interesting story though because I'm a big horror fan and I love zombies and stuff like that. It's always been a thing since I was a kid, you know. I remember listening and watching Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that, you know, anything by George A. Romero essentially. So I always gravitated towards that kind of like darker side of things. And before I even really got into like metal music and stuff, I remember seeing Iron Maiden and seeing the album covers and stuff like that. And I always thought it was really cool. And for whatever reason, I never quite got a chance to sort of listen to the music at the time. Maybe I heard it somewhere in the background somewhere. Maybe they were playing on the radio. I don't know. But it wasn't until a few years later when I was maybe, 8, 9, 10 years old or something like that. And then I finally heard Iron Maiden after being sort of so captivated by all their artwork and the mascot and everything about them. Just I absolutely loved. And so this band has to be good, because all the imagery that they were invoking was just so mesmerizing. Then I listened to the music and I just went something was missing. Like it didn't quite match up with what I thought. Maybe my expectations were just way too high or whatever. But I remember just being a little disappointed, in all honesty, about the fact that what I was hearing was not matching up with what I was seeing. Obviously, years later, I kind of had a new appreciation for the band. You know, I've seen them a couple of times since, and they put on an amazing show. It's one of these things that I've noticed as well, like a lot of the old school heavy metal bands, like your Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and your Metallicas and stuff like that, when they go out and play live to this day, it's just on point. Like they just sound amazing and they put on such a good show. And I've been to like other bands, to sort of more recent bands and seen them live, and they're good and everything, but it just doesn't blow you away like some of these bands do. And I do wonder if that's because of the way that these bands sort of grew up, like listening to like your Deep Purples and your Sabbath, where it was all kind of all larger than life, and so that kind of put them into a position where they wanted to have all these theatrics and kind of give to the fans a little bit, because there was a period before, especially in like the 90s and stuff, I guess, where the bands were not so much for the fans. It was a little bit more insular, I guess you could say. And I kind of feel that's sort of still around a little bit. Maybe there's a bit of a combination of the two. But whereas these bands back in the day were kind of all about, putting it out there for the fans and putting on a good show for them and stuff like that. And so I kind of feel like, seeing these bands live, even now, and much like Rob Halford as well from Judas Priest, Bruce Dickinson is just an absolute powerhouse on the vocals, still runs around like a madman. And the guy's a pilot as well, so. I have actually had the opportunity to see some of the Iron Maiden aircraft that's come in. I used to work at the airport years ago, and I've had the opportunity to go right up close. Basically to kick. You can kick the tires from where I was standing, and see all these great planes that he used to fly. With all the sort of artwork decorated on the plane and stuff. So I've kind of had some pretty cool moments with the Iron Maiden stuff, So yeah, it's just but one of the things that it's been interesting is that I never quite got into Iron Maiden for whatever reason. Again, maybe because that's that heavy metal sort of old school power sort of sound, which don't know, just never quite sort of ticked the right boxes for me, I guess. It was all sort of there, but like I said, one of the things that I really liked about Iron Maiden was all the imagery and stuff that they had. As a little kid who was a horror fan, it was massive. Like I just absolutely loved it. But yeah, the music just didn't quite match up. It almost feels like these albums, the artwork and stuff. I mean, something that's like a death metal band or something would have done. Which I guess later on they sort of did. But anyway, I'm sort of rambling on a little bit there, but that's kind of my history with Iron Maiden. But I've like I said, seeing them live, it kind of just made me appreciate them in a whole new level. So So I thought today we'd check out one of their most iconic tracks, "The Number of the Beast," which is the title track of their 1982 album. And I think it's something that even non-Iron Maiden fans may be very quite familiar with as well. So let's check it out with "The Number of the Beast."
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there. The evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair.
I'll just pause it there quickly. Yeah, already just it invokes this sort of epic sort of feeling, you know. That's one of the things that Iron Maiden have done really, really well in their career is sort of create these big epic sort of not journey in the way that progressive rock or whatever it sort of does, but sort of just gives this epic sort of feeling, you know, these long intros and stuff like that, which is you know, quite common in a lot of the old school metal bands, I guess. You know, the newer bands don't do so much the long intro, they kind of just get straight into it, you know. That could be a reflection of our, you know, attention span, a shorter attention span these days, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's just long intros are just not a thing. But Iron Maiden do it very, very well. And obviously, Bruce Dickinson's voice, it's amazing how he still sounds the same. It's him and Rob Halford just say what you want about those bands, but like you can't deny their ability to just sing in the way that they do and still be able to keep it up despite all these years later.
Satan's work is done.
bass lines there in the background by Steve Harris, I believe his name is. The number of the bass just has that kind of remarkable sort of catchiness to it as well. It's yeah, the riffs and the vocals and all that stuff. It all works really well. I will say that some of the drum beats were a little interesting to hear. I never noticed it before, but it's during the verse parts. There was a sort of like it'd be like a 1 2, and then it's sort of like it would be like another. I don't know what the actual technical terms are, but it wasn't quite 1 2 3 4. It was like 1 2 and then you know what I mean. So that was interesting. It was a little bit sort of a sort of progressive element in there, which I'd never noticed before. Because otherwise, the song just kind of grooves really well all the way through. It's kind of got that very sort of a bit of a swing to it, which I guess is a bit of a reflection of some of the music that was happening at that time and the sounds and stuff like that. So obviously, because obviously you can tell this is quite an old song just from hearing it. 1982 kind of has all that kind of certain things about it. And to be fair, I don't know what a lot of Iron Maiden stuff now sounds like. So I don't know if they've still retained a lot of that stuff or if they've kind of changed a little bit. I don't know. Let me know. Or suggest a song that I should check out from one of their later materials. But yeah, The Number of the Beast is certainly one of those songs that, despite that, stands the test of time, and it is one of those songs that I think Iron Maiden will forever be known for, especially the album as well. It's yeah, just an iconic thing overall with Iron Maiden. I do want to sing along with it though. It's amazing how catchy, especially the 666 part. Who doesn't want to scream? Who doesn't want to scream? Back around again. I do wonder if, I guess by 1982, people were kind of used to this kind of stuff, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do wonder what people who didn't necessarily listen to this kind of music, but were aware of the song or of the band, what they thought of The Number of the Beast and the fact that they were singing 666 and stuff. Was that really much of a controversy in 1982? I mean, I was, just a little kid at the time, so I don't really know. I wasn't aware of what was happening. But because I do remember in the 80s, there was a lot of talk about bands and their lyrics and stuff. It was a bit of an issue at the time. I know bands like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and stuff were kind of getting a bit of flack for some of their lyrics. And I know there were talks of, people like, committing suicide and stuff, apparently from the music they were listening to. Obviously, we know that's not really the case, but there was a lot of legal stuff that was happening. And I know, if I remember correctly, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister kind of was at the forefront and kind of defending all this stuff as well, So I don't know if The Number of the Beast was one of the songs that people kind of like, because I'm sure when Black Sabbath first came out in 1970, that it's kind of scared some people. I get that in 1970, but in 1982, was it a thing at all for songs like this? Let me know for those who were around at that time, and if you remember anything about the band and this song and this album, and did it cause any sort of stir amongst people who, I guess, we're more on the conservative side of things in terms of music and stuff. So, because, even in 1982, heavy metal was still newish to a certain point. So, even though it's pretty tame now in comparison, in 1982, this would be still considered, to be a heavy, heavy song. So, Anyway, there you go. The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. Thank you for tuning in as always. Please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to those who have already subscribed. And please check us out on our social media. Links are all in the description, and I will see you in the next video.